What's going on, y'all? What's poppin'? Peace and many, many blessings to you. Welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for tapping in, regardless of if you're new or if you are returning. I really do appreciate it. Today, we're going to be talking about the new moon in Gemini. So, yay, that's exciting. We know that new moons have that blank space in the air, blank space in the sky for us to put in our manifestations, to put in our wants, to put in the things that we want to see happen. It's that manifestation time. And when it comes to Gemini, or Gemini energy, I'll say, super creative. I feel like people are likely to think about that whole stupid bipolar thing that people say, and it's just like, that's a whole medical disorder. We're not even about to put that on there. And then the Geminis even be like, yeah, because I got two sides of me. Like, all right, babe, you're hype and wrong and loud. Let me not say that. Let me be kind and actually give information. What that actually speaks to is like that Gemini twins, or having that duality within yourself. It's not about being a polar opposite of self or anything like that. It's just, again, super creative. It's like you can have the ability to see something two different ways, and in those two different ways you can see something two more ways. So Geminis to me are just the most creative people, air signs in general, but definitely them. They keep conversations going. They're just always chatty. They're good for ideas, innovation, and I feel like it's an expansive time. We got big ideas, great ideas, innovative ideas. So it's time to expand. It's time to elevate. I don't necessarily have a question that I'm going to bring forth to the cards. I'm literally just reading into the energy of what each element maybe going through, maybe experiencing at this time. Of course, before I get started, if you feel called to send a donation, you can send it here, whether it be Cash App, Venmo, whatever. And if you don't want to send a monetary donation, or if you don't want to send love in that form, send me some love in a comment. I love to hear about how what I'm saying resonates with you, how it applies to your life. You shared it with somebody and you can know what they're going through, and like, just talk to me. I love communication. That's my thing. That's the way to share love with me. If it's not going to be in a monetary donation, talk to me. Communication, that's a form of currency. It's a form of energy exchange. And I love that. So thank you. Thank you. Let's get started. We are going to start off with the air signs. Let's do that because it's a new moon in Gemini. I'm using my Orisha card. It's been getting in more touch with them, pulling more cards for myself every day to tap into the energy that I must master or keep in mind for the day. And I'm thinking of that being a service that I offer for a small amount of people, because it takes a lot of energy type of thing. Read them their cards for the day for a week to help them stay on track with their energy and keep up with alignment. So I will develop that. That came excited. That was exciting. That just came through me. So what's going to happen is I'm going to start. We have hopeful, inspiring energy, and we are reading for the air sign. What is something official? We know that it's a manifesting time. It's an expansive time. We have the 9 of water, the 2 of air in reverse, and then we have the 3 of water. Y'all been tapping into some emotional things, but all right. 9 of water. It reminds me of just the type of person who may be the straggler of the group, the straggler of the family. And I say straggler in the sense of that's what everyone else would say. Like, they're viewing you as stuck behind, or the one that didn't get chosen or whatever, but like, you chose that path. You chose the pathless path. You chose the path to not be grouped up with the others. And they don't even know how, like, they are not even sure. They're comfortable in the situation, and that's why they all chose it, right? Or even subconsciously chose it. They chose this situation to all be grouped together, to be taken away. And they think that that's safe because they're with the crowd. You may have had feelings of like attaching your worth to how well other people would choose you, or how much other people would choose you, or tying your wit to how well you were accepted by groups and things like that. And this is like shining the light on that. You don't need those groups. You don't need those people. You don't need that type of validation when it comes from that, because the people who are stuck up in it don't even know that it's detrimental to them. And you are looking at something like, oh, I wish that was me. But it's like, no, you don't, for real, because they don't even know why they're in it. They just follow somebody else. So these waters it's just about trusting yourself, right? Trusting yourself, knowing that even if you're standing alone in a group, the light is always going to shine. The light will always illuminate. You will always see what you're supposed to see when you're supposed to see it. And it's just about trusting in that. Don't get too caught up in what's being carried away. And then we have the 2 of air in reverse. The waters between a pair are not as clear as we want them to be, like rough waters. So I say that to say maybe a miscommunication where there's a misunderstanding between two people. So those two people could be lovers. Those two people could be in a working relationship. They could also be in a gym together. There's an imbalance of the communication. Maybe one person communicates more. Maybe one person understands more but doesn't express that they understand. So here, what we need to do is be vocal about the things that we want to express, the way that we feel. We need to express the way that you work, the way that you like things to be. it's okay to be specific about that. So yeah, this is about being specific, taking the time to be specific. And it does give me that is work involved. And then the 3 of water for my air signs, I see harmony. So it's like you're being taken away from a situation so that you can really see the light of it. Depending on where you are, you could be a part of the group that's being carried away into some stuff that they don't even really know what they're being carried away for, like somebody chose it for them. And it could have just been a happenstance, like an accident where you were left behind. But again, what's actually really an accident if everything's really for a reason? And then this 2 of air coming in the middle between the communication of the waters is really all about you expressing your needs, expressing your desires, expressing your comforts and the way that you like to go about things. You're so artistic. You're so communicative. Express it. Put it out there. And that 3 of water is just talking about the harmony that exists between the Holy Trinity, right? So going with the flow, being able to work well with family, work well with others, to have good communication and not being afraid to drop the whole who's the leader, who's the follower thing. You got to drop that. It doesn't matter. If y'all are harmonious, then there's always going to be a time for somebody to be the leader, for somebody to be this. Like, be okay with roles changing, the fluidity of roles changing. And that's what I have for y'all. All right, air signs. Let's move on to the earth signs. It will be beneficial for the earth signs to hear some stuff that they can look at to help them when it comes to manifestation, things they want to get away from or move towards and things like that. Okay. Ogun in reverse. Fairies and sylphs in reverse. A message from fire in reverse. So everything is flipped for my earth signs. We are actually in Ogun month. Rules the number 6 and metals and things like that. With Ogun in reverse, that bloodthirsty, bloodlust executioner. He's an executioner in that sense, but he's bloodthirsty for God. But he also just executes in general. So going off to sign papers, going off to do. He's a doer. It may either be a time for earth signs to not do, right? But more time to plan. Or you moving too slow and you missing opportunities and you should have been executing. Maybe invite in some motivation to move on time. Invite in the strength to keep things. Invite in the strength to take action when you need to take action. For the fairies and sylphs, for that one to be in reverse. Sylphs, I hope I'm saying that word right so I'm not out here embarrassing myself. It gives me teacher energy, wise, a dreamer, a poet. This whole Ogun card of not taking action or just that mix. Believe in yourself. Have more belief in yourself. And don't sit on things because you feel like you're not worth it. You know enough, you're mature enough, you're smart enough, you're wise enough, you dream enough, you have enough trust, you have enough, like all of it is inside of you. Do it, push it out. And then message from fire being in reverse. When we have that message from fire, it is all about letting things burn. Tap into the usher thing. Let it burn. We know we have some salamanders here disguised in the smoke, and they're about adaptation. They're about, one, they can regulate their body temperature based on what the environment is, and then they can also blend in with things and know how to fit into what it is. So for that salamander energy to come out in the smoke when we're talking about cleansing and restarting, because fire purifies, fire cleanses, fire restarts, fire is creative. It's all about getting your creative energy and having so much force with it that you are using your creativity to execute. You're using your dreams to execute. And all of this is new to you. All of this is new to you. And that's why we have that fire. It's burning down the false illusions. But it may not feel like a great time for you because it's all in reverse. This is so different than what you're used to. That half time of the year is like, okay, you didn't live half your life like this and you know this. Now it's time to step into stuff that you may not know too much, but you got the, come on, let's do it. Like, it's like pushing you on, ushering you on. But it also makes me think things with metal with this. So if you're creating anything with metal, I want to say be wary of car accidents, but I don't see that energy here. Maybe you already went through one and you're healing from it, or you're finding a way to be creative while you're in your healing phase, things like that. Another thing with the salamanders coming in through the smoke is that whatever pursuit it is that you start, whatever life that comes from you after this is all burned down, these false illusions, it's going to be profitable. It has earth energy in it, and with earth energy comes the support for material. So keep that in mind, earth signs. Thank you. Now I'm going to do my water signs. Water sign. We have the 4 of air in reverse. We have the 7 of earth. And we have the devil in reverse. It looks almost as if there was an attack, and it's an attack everywhere. It's an attack on the mental. It's an attack on your root, like how you move and things like that, your feet, your security. It's an attack on your stomach, your confidence, your solar plexus. And then there's somebody else just covering and hiding to make sure that you don't get no help. To be on the reverse of that, it's like no longer being attacked. I have more control to fight for myself, more of a mental stability. So you may have had someone who is like putting little things in your ears that you were believing. Just having something affect your thoughts in a very negative way. And because your thoughts were affected, everything else around you that you saw was affected. And whoever that influence was still there to make sure that nobody else could get close to you. Nobody else could come help, could come give you a different perspective, could come give you advice to get you out of that situation. And now it's like the flip side of the situation. So either that person has been exposed, you've moved away from them, but you've seen, whether you paid attention to the fact that this person has moved away or not, you've seen the effects of everything else starting to get better. Because that thought, people can place thoughts inside of your head, even if it's not yours, and it's up to you to digest them. And if your frequency is low enough, it's not really a choice, it's going. Because you won't notice the difference between what's yours and what someone else's. And thoughts can really never be ours anyway. That's a whole nother video. Anyway, then we have the 7 of Earth. And this is the type of person who really has a kind heart. And I say that because a loving heart, one that's based in community. They made sure, they walked past all the trees to make sure to see which one was the most fruitful one, and they picked it, but they picked it for the people. They didn't do that for themselves. So it's very selfless, it's very caring, it's very like giving, being willing to take the rise up and take the steps that you have to take to elevate. But the elevation is not even solely for you, it's for you and others. And that is what I'm seeing from the water signs right now is Devil card, a deviation from evil, which makes sense with what the card that I saw at the beginning. So it's like you're getting back into yourself, you're getting back into your community, your village, however that may look. But it's like, remember what you came from, so that you remember what it felt like to have your confidence affected, to have your movements out in this world affected, to have your thoughts affected. Remember that when it comes to being tempted by the devil. And it looks like it was just an influence. Like it's something, you got to build your discernment, water signs. Y'all really have to build your discernment. I know that there's a lot of water signs that are just like lovey and like, oh, like let's just let it flow. Let's see where it goes. I set it out. But you are way too special to be having anybody just hanging around you. So secure yourself, protect yourself, get more serious about who's around you and what thoughts that you're letting in. And remember, it's okay to do things for yourself too, and with yourself, water signs. Thank you. And then last but not least, we are going to tap into the fire signs. 5 of air. Shango in reverse, Ogun's brother. Interesting, they both coming up. And then we have the water element in reverse for the fire signs. You're being encouraged to be more conscious of your surroundings when it comes to all 5 of your senses. I'm going to say that again. You are being encouraged to be aware in your environment when it comes to all 5 senses that is affecting your thoughts. That flows right into the Shango card. Shango, with the brother of Ogun, also has that warrior-like energy, but he's more mental with it. He's more like, well, let me take my eyes out of this. Let me go blind to what I can see so that I can feel into what's actually right. It's a justice thing. It's all about doing the right thing, fairity. Fairness and things like that. So it may be a situation where you're not paying that much attention outside, so you're missing out on heavy cues that can help you gain more clarity on the rightness or the justice in a situation that you may be going through. And justice, it doesn't have to be on some governmental time. It can be just the justice within a situation, not feeling like you were righted or feeling like you was done wrong and things like that. So it shows that there is regret in a decision, and it's based off your senses. Oh, my eyes lied to me. Oh, I did it. You know what I'm saying? So I see that, I see that, I see that. With the water element coming through, you know, that Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces energy for this reading, just kind of showing me a need to dive deeper into the flow of your emotions, 1. 2, to let things flow and to let them be carried away. Like, we are beings made of 70% water. So use all your senses to figure out how to flow where things is making you feel. And tap into your emotions. Maybe do a little journaling. Write down what makes you feel like this is not fair. Or what could you have done? What could you have paid more attention to make a better judgment and things like that? But that's all tapping into the emotion. It's tapping out of logic and into emotion. Out of logic and into emotion. You see what I'm saying? You gotta tap one out to let one in. And yes, they can coexist, but not in this moment, not in this time. So that is what I have to say for my fire signs. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. I always thank my cards for their insight. Also want to thank y'all for watching and just being here with me. I hope that you did check everything. I just mean not only checking your sun sign, but checking your sun, moon, rising, and Mercury signs. Check them. And then I'll see you back next time for the full moon.